Reading reports tonight that the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa is offering its employees voluntary severance packages. Prasa says it's facing financial constraints as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. Its spokesperson, Makosini Mkikwa, joins us for more on the line tonight. For some clarity, Makosini, very good evening and thank you for being with us. So, we're reading that you've sent out letters to unions about these severance packages. What exactly are you saying in those letters and when did you send them out?
Well, we sent those letters, good evening, Tembekile. We sent those letters a few days ago to leaders of the union federation, leaders, to say that we would like to have a conversation with them with a view to apprising them of the situation at Prasa and also to see if we cannot, agree on, offering voluntary severance packages to those employees who may be willing to take them. We would be looking at a category of people of a certain age and people who are not in critical positions, because the last thing we would want to do is to hollow out the organization so that it can't continue because critical skills have left the organization. So we're looking at people who are not in the category of critical skills and who are not holding critical positions.
And what do you classify as a non-critical skill? And just on certain age, where is the cutoff?
Look, that's a conversation that the administrator, Mr. Bongisizwe Mpondo, is going to be having with the union leaders. My intention for coming over here today to talk to you, it is really to confirm that indeed Prasa is facing that situation that it is facing, that is compelling us to look at offering voluntary severance packages. But, there will be proper engagement with union leaders, and I'm sure that we will reach a conclusion with them, which would be in the best interest of the organization, because this decision is taken so that the organization can stay afloat, so that the organization can be sustainable. Right now, we pay more than 50% in salaries of our operational budget, which is very high, because that's the money that we have to use to pay ESCOM, to pay suppliers, etc., etc. And Prasa has in the past several years been operating on a budget of a deficit, which means that, Prasa makes less money than it spends. We don't want to be in a situation like that. We want to be in a situation where Prasa actually makes more money than it spends.
Okay, so how many jobs do you need to cut to get to that point?
I don't think that it is about, a specific number of jobs that we need to cut. It is about arriving at an acceptable percentage of the budget that should be spent on salaries. But we are hoping that, after the voluntary severance packages, if we agree on them and if people accept them, that we should be able to reduce our headcount to an acceptable level before, and that would make it unnecessary for us to even be looking at retrenchment.
But the number of people who will be affected is what the unions are likely to fight you on most, Makosini. So how ready are you for that pushback? Are you expecting a lot of pushback from unions?
It will be difficult for me to speculate on that, but I would think that the unions themselves appreciate the fact that in order, it is in the best interest of employees, it is in the best interest of workers for Prasa to be sustainable. If Prasa is not sustainable, then it means that Prasa can no longer continue to do business. And we know, from what we've seen in recent times, that when a state-owned company fails, the people who suffer the most are employees. So what we're trying to do is to circumvent a situation where Prasa fails. And in order for Prasa not to fail, Prasa has to be sustainable, which means that it must have an affordable headcount in terms of the number of employees. It must also be able to have a budget that is a deficit budget, and also it must be able to make more money than it spends.
Okay, are you offering severance packages to managers?
Especially managers. This is especially looking at managers that must be given voluntary severance packages because, people who are working on the ground, who are at the coalface serving the organization, are the people that we would want to keep, and people who are sitting in offices who are higher up who are not occupying critical positions are the people that we would like to offer voluntary severance packages to.
So Prasa was already battling financially. Some would say it was broke before the COVID-19 pandemic. That's now exacerbated the situation. How much longer is the rail agency going to be able to hold on post-coronavirus pandemic?
That's very difficult to say, Tembegile, because it's difficult to know when this virus is going to be brought under control to an extent that life can go back to normal. We don't know as to, after that, what will be the state of the economy, how many people will be having jobs elsewhere that will be needing to use our trains. We don't know what the revenues would be, but we are working very hard. The administrator has a number of initiatives that are already in place, amongst them revenue enhancement, so that we're not only looking at reducing the headcount, but we're also looking at making sure that Prasa makes more money, that we recover the services that have been closed due to vandalism and theft. So, we are doing our best to make sure that, it becomes unnecessary to return to workers.
Prasa spokesperson, thank you for speaking to us, sir.